When we talk about generational, what the system has done to us, from first invasion, the law upon my people, they've been killing my people, but back in those days they was authorised and that to shoot them, hang them. You know, we're talking about the killing fields of Australia, which was my people. The genocide, the massacres, that was all legalised. That was allowed to happen here in Australia. But for future generations, we are here standing, talking and calling it out for what it is, that this country is a racist country. It's been racist to the sovereign people of this country from day dot. From when they arrived here 230 years ago, they come and they killed my people in mass. And today they're locking us up. They built a prison for my people in the early years. It was called Rottnest Prison. They took my people, all our men, from our communities, Pilbara, Kimberley, Noongar country, Goldfields. They took our people, they brought them down in chains, took them out to Rottnest. Not many of them people went home. And they say there's a small number, around 400 graves at the Rottnest. I say that's a lie. Thousands of my people were executed there at Rottnest. They're just undocumented.
Prior to the gathering, before we start the presentation in terms of the purpose why we are here today, which is the 30-year mark since the recommendations were passed down from the Royal Commission into Aboriginal deaths in custody. But before we do that, I just want to let people know, and a lot of you will, that through this year and last year, there was a Royal Commission into the institutionalised abuse and neglect of all young people inside church-run institutions right across this country. One of the brothers was from Western Australia here. He was in charge of Bindoon, and he was also many times had travelled in and throughout Clontarf, and he set up the Tardan mission that was exclusively where young Aboriginal people went. The Catholic Church, many years ago, actually made a statue of Father Kearney. During the first redress program that compensated people for the abuse, neglect, which included child sexual abuse, was through the Western Australian Redress Scheme. And there were hundreds and hundreds of stories that were told of how this one man had molested, raped and brutalised many of the young people inside both Clontarf and Bindoon and Tardan. They made a statue of this so-called father, and the only time that they ever did out of sainthood. Every statue that the Catholic Church has are of people to whom have created, as they say, miracles and are known as saints. This was a living man in which they made this particular statue. And this is the statue of this monster known as Father Kearney, who brutalised so many young people that they had found in the end part of their life were incarcerated throughout the prisons of this country and had taken their lives because they no longer could live with the guilt, the shame that this monster had inflicted on them. So here today, and I've had this statue for many, many years, our cultural centre, our cultural hub, our camp, and I knew that one day we'd be in the right place and time to put him and to bring him back to where he belongs, to the fire of hell. With the institutional rape and the molestation that caused the end result of the loss of life amongst many, many thousands of young people who were brought in from overseas, from England, Ireland, Malta, and that they ended their life because of this piece of trash. In the right place and time to put him and to bring him back to where he belongs, to the fire of hell.
Well, the effect is part of the ingrained trauma of the dispossession of Aboriginal people from land and families through the 1905 Native Welfare Act, and it also is obviously part of the ongoing genocide of Aboriginal people since the forced occupation of our land by the English and others. The genocide is a continued evolution of how you fully dispose and eradicate a race of human beings. So this genocide continues, but we today have ourselves organised, and the activism and the struggle and the fight against the ongoing genocide and the oppression of our people will continue, and will continue in uprisings globally of what they've done to Indigenous people right throughout the world. To give back our land, to give back our resources, and to equate the rights of our people, the human rights, to be that on the same level of non-Aboriginal people in this country, and for our people to have the right to freedom and to be able to justifiably exist unbrutalised and unoppressed on our land of our ancestors that are the oldest living cultural ceremonial grounds on the face of the earth.
Yeah, well, they criminalise our children at 10 years old. Our children incarcerated at 10 years old. Then it's just generational prison from there on, where there should be other, diversions, not from a prison, not into a prison. Take our kids bush, take them back to who we are, back to our culture, back to the lands, back to the country, and learn them, in that perspective. Don't want to impose the westernised justice on us, because we had a law here a long time ago that was far stronger and far greater, where our people were not incarcerated or locked up. Our children weren't imprisoned at 10 years old, but we had a law that was strong and powerful, but they imposed their justice on us, and it's just a punitive approach. It's all about punishment, not rehabilitation.